So if the Quran was the only book Prophet Muhammad followed, and we are to follow the guidance given to him, then we have to follow only the Quran, as that is what makes Prophet Muhammad the messenger of Allah. Now it is very important that you understand that I am not saying that all hadiths are false. Only the ones Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not authorize are false, as said in Surah 45 verse 6. These are the verses of Allah that we recite them to you in truth. So in which hadith after Allah and His verses will they believe? So in which hadith after Allah and His verses will they believe? The only answer to this question is Allah and His verses as the only hadith to believe in. Thus, this question is clearly saying that if you believe in any other hadith other than Allah and His verses, such as Sahih Bukhari, Muslims, Abu Dawud, and so on, then you have surely gone astray, as the verse continues to explain this. Woe to every sinful liar or fabricator who hears the verses of Allah recited to him, then insists arrogantly as if he did not hear them. So give him good tidings of a painful punishment. And when he knows anything of our verses, he takes them in ridicule. Those for them is a humiliating punishment. In front of them is Jahannam, hell, and what they had earned will not avail them at all, nor what they had taken besides Allah as allies. And for them is a tremendous punishment. This is guidance. And those who disbelieve in the verses of their Lord, for them is a punishment of a painful retribution. Also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very strict about His hadith as follows. Allah, there is no God but He. He will most definitely gather you together towards the day of resurrection. No doubt about it. And who is more truthful than Allah in hadith? The only answer to this is no one except Allah. Hence, the hadith of Allah, the Quran, is the only hadith. Do they not look at the kingdom of the heavens and the earth, and what things created by Allah, and that perhaps their term has come near? So in which hadith after His will they believe? The only answer to this is no one's hadith except Allah, the hadith of Allah, the Quran. Then perhaps you would kill yourself that they do not believe in this hadith out of grief. All other hadiths instead of Allah's only authorized hadith, the Quran, are called pastime or nonsense hadiths, as they are purchasable, deceptive, and it will lead you astray from the way of Allah, and that is said to us in Surah 31 verse 6 as follows. And of mankind is he who purchases or buys pastime or nonsense hadith, lahwal hadith, to lead astray from the way of Allah without knowledge, and takes it in mockery. Those will have a humiliating punishment. Getting into a hadith conversation with the Prophet during his time hurted him or annoyed him, as said in Surah 33 verse 53. O you who believe, do not enter the houses of the Prophet except when you are permitted for a meal, without waiting its preparation. However, when you are invited, then enter. So when you have eaten, then disperse, and do not linger for a hadith or idle talk with the Prophet. Indeed, that was hurting or annoying the Prophet, and he is shy of dismissing you, but Allah is not shy of the truth. And when you ask them, his wives, for something, then ask them behind a curtain, hijab. That is pure for your hearts and their hearts. And it is not for you to hurt or annoy the Messenger of Allah, nor that you should marry his wives after him, ever. Indeed, that is near Allah an enormity, because they are mothers for the believers, as said in the same surah verse 6. Thus, the Prophet disliked anyone who lingered for a hadith, and it annoyed him. Not only is the Quran the only hadith to follow, but it is also the best hadith as well. Allah has sent down the best hadith, ahsan al-hadith, a book similar in its oft-repeated, shiver from it the skins of those who fear their Lord. Then their skins and their hearts relax to the remembrance of Allah. That is the guidance of Allah. He guides with it whom He wills, and whoever Allah leaves astray, then for him there is no guide. How can you follow any other hadith after knowing all of this? Then let them bring with a hadith like it, if they are truthful ones. This is a challenge to produce a hadith like the Quran. Whoever accepts this challenge is challenging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a very terrible challenge. Do you then wonder about this hadith? Then is it to this hadith that you are indifferent, mudahinun, meaning having no particular interest? So leave me, and whoever denies this hadith, we will progressively lead them where they do not know. So in which hadith after his will they believe? Additionally, Surah 17 verse 73 to 75 clearly proves that Prophet Muhammad was not to preach anything else except the Quran, or else Allah would have stopped the revelations to him and punished him as follows. And indeed, they were about to tempt you away from that which we inspired to you, that you invent about us other than it. And then surely they would have taken you as a close friend. And if not that we had strengthened you, you would have almost inclined to them a little. Then we would have made you taste double of life punishment, and double of death punishment. Then you will not find for yourself against us a helper. Therefore, Al-Bukhari, Muslims, Abu Dawood, and the others who say that Prophet Muhammad said anything other than the Quran is an insult to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Messenger, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Henceforth, if anyone continues to follow them after these clear proofs, you're then an enemy to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For you are associating partners next to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a religious source other than the Quran as a primary and only religious source. Say, what thing is greatest as a witness? Say, Allah's witness between me and between you, and this Quran was inspired to me that I may warn you with it, and whomever it reaches. Do you bear witness that with Allah there are other gods? Say, I do not bear witness. Say, He is only one God, and indeed I disassociate from whatever you associate. Therefore, if you bear witness that there are other religious sources besides the Book of Allah, you then bear witness that with Allah there are other gods. So whoever follows the Quran alone do not bear witness to other gods. He is only one God, and indeed I disassociate from whatever you associate. And the day we will resurrect among every nation a witness over them from themselves, and we will bring you as a witness against those. And we have sent down to you the book as an explanation, clarification, tibayanan, for everything, and a guidance and mercy and glad tidings for the submitters, the surrenderers, Muslimin. Thus the Quran is an explanation or clarification for everything, and a guidance and a mercy and a glad tidings for those who surrender. One book with everything that we need, and it is also self-explanatory as said in Surah 6 verse 114. Then is it other than Allah I should seek as a wise judge, while He is the one who has sent down to you the book, explained in detail, self-explanatory, mufassala. And those to whom we gave the book, they know that it is sent down from your Lord in truth, so do not be among the doubters. This concludes that the Quran is all we need, and it is fully detailed, and by following the Quran alone, we are obeying Allah and the Messenger, because it is the message sent to the Messenger of Allah. And whoever obeys the Messenger, then indeed he obeys Allah. Now the final inquiry that many ask is, how can almost everyone be wrong this whole time?